get busy on demand, they demand it.
Okay, calm down. Everybody calm down. This is insane. I understand it swept me off my feet when I saw the notification on my phone, but we got to talk about it, all right? The Lakers get Luka Doncic in exchange for Anthony Davis. That is basically the entire trade. 1-for-1. Random role players going elsewhere and like a first-round pick. That is it. This caught everybody in the world by surprise. Twitter was accusing Shams of being hacked. Nobody saw this coming. Not me, not you. Don't fucking lie to me. You did not see this coming. Anyways, let's talk about it. Apparently, the Mavericks are upset that Luka is fat all the time. That was their excuse. The Mavericks had major concerns about moving forward with Luka Doncic due to his constant conditioning issues and looming commitment of another Supermax contract this summer. So, they were upset with the fact that he's lazy, he's always out of breath, he has to go sit on the bench, I guess. That's basically them calling him fat. That's basically what they just said. And they're also scared to have to commit to that and sign him for another extension, which I guess makes sense. But I think Mark Cuban and the Mavericks are overthinking things like crazy. When you have a guy like Luka Doncic doing Luka Doncic things, you got to overlook some things. Just because he has one quality that you're not okay with, you gotta, he's a superstar. You can't overlook these things. He is 25 years old. And you're just going to trade away an up-and-coming all-time great for practically no reason. Other than the fact that, hey, I don't think his conditioning is good. We're upset with that. And we want somebody else in this case. And we want somebody else that won't be asking for as much money as he is. We had also recently got a notification saying until tonight, the Mavericks and Luka were heading towards a 5-year, $345 million contract. Which, obviously, crazy money. But, I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. The Mavericks are coming off a finals appearance where Luka Doncic proved he can help his team compete for a championship. It's not like they've had multiple, back-to-back, first round, second round, no playoff appearance. They proved they could compete for a championship. And we're just throwing that away. You got to pay your guys. If you're going to win a championship, you have to pay your guys. And whatever criticism you had of Luka Doncic, you're overthinking too much. This man is a superstar. A superstar. And out of everybody, the one thing I saw this on Twitter, and I agree wholeheartedly. If you were so hell-bent on moving on from Luka, why Anthony Davis? You understand the immense value. Everyone would assume Luka is not anywhere near up for grabs. Why, out of all people, did you hunt for Anthony Davis? And the Lakers in general, who have been struggling ever since trading for Russell Westbrook. They have been struggling to put together trades because they have absolutely no assets left. They've had to trade guys for just to get picks back, just to make other trades. They've been struggling. So why wouldn't you pinpoint a team that maybe needs this young guy right now, has more assets to give up, and more draft capital to give up? I'm going to read the whole trade details right now. So Shams had to confirm, yes, this is real, in his tweet, while also saying the Lakers get Luka, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris, while the Mavericks get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 Lakers first-round pick. The Jazz also get Jalen Hood-Schifino, a 2025 Clippers second, and a 2025 Mavericks second. I don't know why they had to be part of this deal, but they were. Like I said, hell-bent on getting rid of Luka Doncic, right? Hell-bent. You wanted him off the team. So you decide to one-to-one trade him to the Lakers for a singular first-round pick, right? And Anthony Davis. The Mavericks had a bright future. They have Derek Lively. You have these young guys with a young up-and-coming all-time great in Luka Doncic, who already at the age of 25 made it to a finals appearance. And now you trade that away for an older Anthony Davis. Still got some good years in him? Yes, of course. He's like 32. And a aging star, right? I just don't understand. I don't understand what makes the Mavericks think Because right now, they think them getting Anthony Davis is putting them in a better win-now situation. The Mavericks approached the Lakers with this trade idea, by the way. They approached them. The Lakers were not asking because they thought that was ridiculous. I promise. The Lakers, they believe that Luka is their franchise guy, obviously. While giving Anthony Davis a win-now move in Dallas. A win-now. What? I understand... Because I'm in agreement that Luka and Kyrie as a duo, two guards, is kind of weird. It might be one-off situations where they have success and then they don't. When you have two stars, you'd rather them play completely different positions. I agree. But Kyrie is not getting any younger. Anthony Davis is not getting any younger. Though they probably fit better, they are not giving you more of a chance to win a championship right now than having Luka for the foreseeable future. He was only 25. And now your window is so much shorter because you traded that 25-year-old superstar for older guys who are still within their prime, but kind of drifting out of it. You better hope you somehow pull a championship out of your ass in these next 3 or 4 years, right? Or it's going to be one of the worst trades we've seen in the NBA in a long time since the Celtics fleeced the Nets for all those first-round picks. It's going to look really bad. Because now instead of having your entire future, Luka's entire career, to build a team around them enough to win a championship, now you're on the clock. You got to figure something out quick. Because you can't just dilly-dally for a couple years. I just don't think right now with this team just barely floating above 500 is going to win a championship aided with Kyrie, Anthony Davis. If LeBron and Anthony Davis has been struggling to win a championship after 2020, what makes you think a duo of Kyrie and Anthony Davis is? I'm trying to make it make sense. I really am. I'm struggling because you have your guy. You found your guy. You found your guy. You should not be thinking, oh, I'm worried about his conditioning. So now my thoughts is this contract we're going to have to pay him over the summer it's really making us nervous. Nervous to the point where we're going to trade our guy. The guy we got him. We got him. And at 25, not only is he shattering records, but he has proven that he can get you there. He's proven it. You just need more time to bake. That's what you need more time. But they just deaded it. They deaded it. You can't do that in the sports world. This is separate from a Timberwolves situation where they saw their most success, but they were afraid of spending too much money. That wasn't them. They were afraid of spending too much money on someone they couldn't rely on. They thought that he just wasn't built for it. He's out of shape all the time. That's why they didn't want to put all that money towards him. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And when you find your guy in sports, you lock him up. You lock him up. Don't let him go nowhere. This is your guy. And he proved that just last season. Just last season. Yes, he was partly injured in the finals, and he had a very, very questionable defensive effort, but he's only 25. There's things that he can learn. There's things he can grow with. It just takes one summer of conditioning. It takes one summer of in the lab to really just be enough. And also, you can maybe build a team around Luka that can hide him defensively if you're so worried about that. That's why last season they had so much success, is because through the trade deadline, they got PJ Washington and the success of Derrick Jones Jr. They had them, and together they were able to hide the defensive liability of Luka, and they played such good defense to the point where they made the fucking finals. Because Luka is that great that he brought you to the finals once you had a competent team around him. Just one season after that, you're ready to let him loose. It's insane. They also stated that he never requested a trade. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. He must have requested a trade, or there was something going on between them two that he wanted the fuck out. But no, they also never warned him that the trade was coming. They just did it. That's how you lose your players. Being not only making this stupid trade, but not having the enough respect for this guy to then warn him and tell him, hey, we're moving on. This is a homegrown guy. You drafted him. And he's an up-and-coming all-time great. Just cut him loose without a fucking word. Since recording this, there was also another tweet that came out stating that the GM that made the trade, it wasn't Mark Cuban. I know that they're like kind of split in the ownership with the decisions and stuff. He doesn't really do a majority of whatever, but he still kind of oversees it. For some, I don't know what made him foresee this. I hope he had nothing to do with this. But anyways, the general manager, the one who made this deal, said defense wins championships. He thought he had his fucking action movie moment. Hit the one-liner on him. But everyone thinks he's a fucking fool. He's an idiot. That is just a dumb thing to say. This guy, obviously he can't play defense, right? But your number one superstar guy, your leader, doesn't have to be the guy who contributes on defense the most, if at all. So many championships have been won by people who aren't the best defenders on their team. You can win via a defensive team. Your one guy superstar doesn't have to be that guy. He doesn't have to. As long as you put a defense around them. They did that when Dirk Nowitzki was on the squad. This guy's not a defender, but they had a team around him that could play defense. And they won a championship. They beat the Big Three Heat. They did that. I don't know what was put in this dude's cereal and made him just flip the switch on and just hate on him because he just can't play defense. That is your reasoning for making this stupid trade, is because he can't play defense. So let's get a guy who gets a lot of blocks. Hasn't won Defensive Player of the Year, though, by the way. This guy who's an all-time great defender never won a Defensive Player of the Year. But let's get him because he's a guy who plays defense just because. Just because he can play defense. What about Kyrie, though? He don't play defense. Just the more time that goes with it and the more words that are said makes this trade even stupider. Stupider. Stupider's not even a word, but I'm pulling that shit out because of how stupid this shit is. Now we can finally talk about the Lakers side. Lakers fans, congratulations. You somehow found a fucking way to make the Russell Westbrook trade not matter. Awesome. Good job, guys. Congratulations. Now, project after LeBron retirement is looking pretty up. With a snap of our fingers, right? They traded for Anthony Davis, the Lakers. They traded for Anthony Davis with the purpose to have a blend to the post-LeBron life, which they thought probably would have happened by now. It won them a championship. So this trade obviously was worth it. Getting Anthony Davis and winning a championship will always be worth it. Now, after those years, did we think Anthony Davis was going to be this number one guy that could help keep the Lakers afloat and compete for championships? No, not a single person should have thought that. Especially losing all their assets to try and win now. It was going to take a while to the point where Anthony Davis was probably going to be too old to carry a team for that to happen in the first place. Okay? But now, all these mistakes during the end of LeBron's career, these past couple years, these stupid trades just to get a name, does not matter because you got a moronic Mavericks team to trade you the next all-time great at 25 years old. At 25, you got the guy. You didn't have to wait for another max contract when he was 31. No, you got him in the prime of his up-and-coming years. You got him now. Congratulations, guys. I don't know what else to say, man. Good job. I don't know how the fuck this happens to Los Angeles sports teams, but I feel like they could just do whatever they want. And somewhere down the line, they'll be able to make up for it because they're in Los Angeles. And that's just how it works there. They live in the clouds over there. But now, after LeBron retires, you have a 26, 27, maybe 28-year-old Luka to pull in the reins. He is now the guy. And all you have to do from there on out is put a competent team around him. And for the foreseeable future, you got another competent team that can compete for championships. You got your next superstar face of your franchise. Just like that. And all you had to do was trade Anthony Davis, who has been hurt a lot for the past few years. He's been there. Their team has failed a lot with him and LeBron still being there. So now you traded him for the brightest future possible. I don't know how you did it. With all the value Luka had, you picked out Anthony Davis. You could have probably asked for a majority of the other superstars in the league in return. Not only anybody you wanted, but more value. You could have gotten more picks, more competent role players with it. But you settled for Anthony Davis because I guess that fit of Kyrie and Anthony Davis is cool, and you guys will be solid. You will be solid, but you are not winning no championship. You better hope you do. I just think a moral of this whole dilemma is that I think the Mavericks are way overthinking the Luka Doncic era. They're way overthinking it. They're thinking too much about the caution they have for Luka in his conditioning. They worry so much the fact that they're going to have to be the one to pay him all this money as a superstar, face of your franchise, deserves, right? They are thinking too much about it to the point where they overthought it and just pulled the trigger. And I think that's crazy. I don't remember the last time this has happened. A guy who has proven to be able to bring your guy to a championship level. You guys were in the finals. You won a game, you were 3 games away from winning a championship. And halfway through this next season, you trade him because you're just worried about paying him. When you have these guys, man, Mark Cuban, whoever the fuck making these deals, man, when you have the guy, everyone talking about him, he's a superstar, breaks these records, they have him an up-and-coming all-time great. He's only 25. And he's shown all these things. 60-20 game. Ridiculous. Brought you to a fucking finals appearance. And just one season after, half a season after, you traded him. For a singular first-round pick and an aging star in Anthony Davis. You didn't even get someone around the same age as that means you think your best chance right now to win is by having this duo of Kyrie and Anthony Davis. And even though your window is way smaller now, you're taking that chance. It's just too big of a risk to be doing that. Way too big of a risk. Because now there's very little room for error. You slightly fuck up one thing. One little bad game one bad series in the playoffs, something could completely throw off everything because now you got to hit the lottery and rebuild again. But if you just kept Luka, you have a max or a minimum 10 more years for championships. 10. He's 25, man. You're going to take anything out of this, man. In the sports world, if you got a guy that has proven that he can bring you to a championship and compete, you pay them. Don't fucking second guess nothing. Pay your athletes. Too many fan bases get laughed at because they let someone walk or they trade them because they overthought about the pricing and they go off and are a star somewhere else. The same thing is happening to you, Dallas. The same exact thing. All because you don't want to pay your athlete and you're worried about one part of his game rather than the superstardom of everything else he brings to the table. Insane. Disgusting. It's so bad. It's so bad to the point like, bro, I could be in there and I would know not to trade Luka Doncic. It doesn't take anything extra. Just don't trade this guy. Build around this guy. He is the sun. Everybody else is the solar system around him. That's it. But no, you fucked it up. You traded the sun. Everybody orbits around him and you traded him. Good job. Let me know what you guys think. Though I think the Lakers absolutely cooked. They just cooked. You got Mark Cuban hitting up your phone. You're like, hello? And he's like, yo, we want to give you Luka for Anthony Davis. I bet you Rob Pelinka was like this. But I bet you he also was like, oh yeah, let's, yeah, we can discuss this. Yeah, sure. Keep him talking on the other line because I want to see how much I can fucking get out of this shit. You said Luka? You called me talking about, I want to give you Luka. I want Anthony Davis. I will give you Luka. Not Kyrie, some other assets and picks. No, Luka Doncic, the face, the guy who brought us to this finals. We're giving him to you. All you have to do, give us the brow. Give us the brow. I should also add this. The Lakers also said there was some turmoil with the front office there and Anthony Davis because of the ESPN interview. They were upset about something. I scoured through the interview cutting between parts and sections, certain questions, just to see anything that would have ticked off the Lakers. And the only thing I could have found was when he said that he wants a center and that he prospered and was the best of his abilities when they had a center during their championship year. All he said was, I think our best bet is to put a center behind me. That was it. I don't know what else would have ticked them off. I mean, that could be anything. It could be a slight thing. They weren't the one who wanted to trade Anthony Davis. They got a phone call about Luka, and they were like, whatever you want. You didn't even ask for LeBron or nothing? Okay, bet. I also got a question. Is LeBron out next? Is LeBron to the Warriors a thing? I doubt it. I just don't see that happening. Just because I feel like the Warriors are just so okay with riding off into the sunset for whatever reason. To be honest, though, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers were just like, now they got Luka, all of a sudden, hey, get Bron out the door, wherever he wants to go. Wherever he wants to go to end his career right off in the sunset, we'll let that happen. We now have our 25-year-old superstar to worry about for the first hit. We skipped that whole tanking part post LeBron. We skipped that and have already got the guy who has proven in the playoffs his ability to win. Again, let me know your thoughts. If you say somehow that what the Mavericks are doing was smart, you're also overthinking it. At the end of the day, it's basketball. Sometimes you don't have to think so deep into things. What this is, at the end of the day, is the Mavericks taking way too big of a risk for absolutely no reason. Just pay Luka. It's all you had to do. Just pay your guy. They did what they did, man. Actually, it's crazy. I cannot believe it. I was in the middle of a Madden game, and I saw this pop up. I couldn't even play the rest of the game. I didn't know what to think. Like, what the fuck just happened? Hey, NBA, this trade deadline, man, getting exciting. De'Aaron Fox could be on the move. My guy. We thought it was going to be pretty fire with all these names that could be moved. Little did we know, dude. Little did we know. That's crazy. That is fucking crazy.